We're here in Cologne, Germany at the Ludwig Museum. We're looking at Barbara Kruger's untitled 1994 to 1995 project. It's a large installation that fills an entire room, covering the ceiling, floor, and all of its walls.
That's right. Kruger is known for her reconstruction of magazine photographs in an enlarged billboard manner to create a satirical commentary on social, political, and cultural matters. These pieces cover anything from shirts to magazines to larger canvases like buses and even entire room exhibits, much like this one.
It should be noted that in this work, Barbara Kruger uses photos that is not her own. Instead, she uses existing photos and derives her own meaning from them.
You're exactly right. In fact, this is an attribute of all of Barbara Kruger's work. She uses photography that has been taken by others, and this in itself is commentary. She's pushing the viewer to consider what it means to create art and to question creative ownership, a theme that is paralleled in this installation, which deals with individuality, individual thought versus blind acceptance of a way of thinking.
Very interesting. And to really grasp this work, we have to talk about not only the selection of elements, but the arrangement. For instance, from the viewing spaces upstairs, you can take the whole room as a coherent piece from the words on the floor and the images around the walls.
Exactly. However, the images demand to be looked at separately also to fully take in the effects of each piece. For example, the words on the ceiling can only be seen from the floor opposite the viewing space upstairs.
I agree. As you can see, each image includes blocks of writing that can only be read from up close, focusing on the overall image. The piece is seen to deal with collective mindset that is so popular in the modern world.
Looking at the text on the ceiling, forget everything, believe anything, know nothing, I'm kind of reminded of the novel by George Orwell, 1984, and the party's motto, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
And the commanding nature of the text on the ceiling juxtaposes with the text on the floor, because what's written on the floor is a series of questions encouraging the viewer to think critically about important things. Who will write the history of tears? Is there a perfect mate for everyone? Is blind idealism reactionary? Why doesn't God destroy Satan? When was the last time you laughed?
Also, if we take in the background, we notice that it is a large crowd. This parallels the kind of hive mindset that Kruger is challenging, and the intimidation factor of the crowd is what pushes the viewer away from unanimity into individuality.
Exactly. Now, if we take a look at the pieces below from the viewer's balcony, we can see an image of a man with his face covered and the words, "Fear like us."
The text calls us to be like everyone else, but the frightening imagery of the photo foreshadows what will become of us if we do. Again, we see this theme of contradiction, which leaves the viewer in charge of deciding whether or not to think for themselves.
Yes. Let's also look at the small text in the art pieces. The text corresponding to "Fear like us" reads, "Your craving for yourself and others, your campaign for a world without women." And another example is the text corresponding to "Hate like us," which reads, "Your fear and loathing, your resolute cruelty, your relentless humiliations." The small text reveals the intolerance that is being presented in the larger text and shows what may be becoming of our society, which is what Kruger may be trying to educate the viewer on.
Oh, well, looks like that's all the time we have.
Yeah, those losers from Khan Academy just showed up, Beth and Steven.
Man, let's ditch those posers.